Hello, so I'm just going to show you some of the detail of the stitching that I did on the mother and child panel. So the idea for this piece is that it is very much up to people, the stitches that they want to use, but I do understand it can be quite helpful just to see an example of some of the stitches that I have done to provide a little bit of guidance and inspiration. So I'm just going to kind of talk through some of the stitches. So you can see here, that's running stitch that I've used on the hair here. Where else have I used running stitch? A little bit around the acorn I've used some running stitch as well, and around the cheeks and also the sunshine. There's some split stitch around the outline of the fish here, and another one of the stitches that I use quite a bit is called seed stitch, or I've seen it referred to anyway as seed stitch. So that's on the flower, the moon, the bird. So they're kind of alternative. The seed stitch I use as a bit of an alternative to French knots, and they're a little bit, I don't know, I kind of like doing it so it's a little bit non-uniform, so some of the stitches are a little bit bigger than others. But essentially, to create a seed stitch, you just stitch another stitch on top of a stitch underneath, so you're kind of just doubling up on stitches, or sometimes I'll even do 3 little stitches on top of each other, and I just think they look quite organic and I really like them. There's some here as well on the butterfly. And another one of the stitches that I've used quite a lot is couching. So on the hair here, I've used couching to keep the metallic thread in place, but then I also heavily couch on some here so they can see this line. So I think there's probably about 2 strands of embroidery thread underneath these stitches that are kind of couched on top of very closely together, so it completely covers the stitch underneath. I just really like the texture that this creates, so it's a very raised sort of texture here. There's some satin stitch here, and some satin stitch on the sunshine. You can see some couching here as well. Some back stitch, I've done quite a lot of back stitch, so there's some back stitch here, some back stitch on some of the hair here as well, and around the acorn. This shell here is satin. So I'd say the main stitches I've used are the running stitch, the back stitch, the satin stitch, the couching stitch, and the seed stitch. Here we go. And I have actually done some French knots here as well, so the more kind of traditional way of creating these sort of raised stitches here. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you very much.